Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Shots from the Bench. It's only sports talk, and of course, all opinions are both fabulous and flawed. I'm Bob Wiltman. My co-host is Bob Murphy. Greg Malinzuk's running around behind the scenes, taking care of the cameras, trying to get us some free drinks, and basically keeping us out of trouble. We are here at the lovely Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, where the food and sports are always tasty. We're here every Tuesday night, 6 to 7. So come on in, come on out, come on over and around. Wherever you are, just come on in and join us. We got a lot of sports to talk about. We'll do some trivia, maybe throw a free beer or two out your way if we hear some very intelligent conversation. And we want you to know that this is the only sports talk show in the Villages, right here, Shots from the Bench. So, that being said, partner, I guess the first thing we got to talk about is we lost a legend.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Over the weekend, the great one, the greatest one, or the greatest.
The
Muhammad
greatest
Ali.
was Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali, 74 years old, passed away this past weekend.
In failing health for quite a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Parkinson's. for
Diagnosed
many,
at
many
the age
years.
of 42.
Yeah.
So that was 32 years ago
That's
he was
right.
diagnosed.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And he kept plugging. He kept trying to do different things over the years. You know, I remember I think it was I can't believe it was 96 that he lit the torch at the Olympics.
Is that when it was?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't think it was that long ago.
Wow.
But man, that's what I saw
Well,
the other day.
time
But,
flies, but I remember that.
Sure.
That was quite a
Yep.
that was quite a moment to behold. I remember
Well, he was
that.
an Olympic champion in 1960.
I remember that.
1960. He won 3 heavyweight championships. Beat Sonny Liston in 1964
With
to start
the
it off.
Phantom Punch, I might add, but I don't think it was thrown. I think
Oh.
Sonny just had a glass jaw.
Sure.
Sonny didn't know what hit him, obviously.
That's right. He won 2 more championships in 74 over Joe Frazier and 78 over George Foreman.
Wow.
But there was some time in between there where he lost a lot of his prime. He was a conscientious objector of the about going to war.
Yes,
for
he
against
was.
the United States.
Yeah.
So the U.S. stripped him of his titles and banned him for up to 4 years. It was close to 4 years that he did not box.
And when did he did he make the switch to Muslim
Yeah, during
faith?
that
During it before he was a conscientious objector. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know the exact. I think it was right. I think it was he made that switch prior to that.
Prior to it.
Yeah, I believe. From Cassius Clay, he was born Cassius Clay, and to Muhammad Ali, which is a Sunni Muslim name, and so became world famous because of his rope-a-dope and the way he danced around the ring, and just the way he avoided being hit was amazing.
It was
And,
amazing.
Very, very.
He was a big man too. Very
Outgoing,
light
yep.
on his feet. Big man.
That's right.
Very big man.
So between 64 and 74, really didn't do much because no championships.
Well, I mean, that when you think about what he accomplished, and I've got some other things I want to say about him also, but I think anybody who's asked Michael Vick, I mean,
Sure.
if you're at the top of your profession, and all of a sudden you spend 3 years basically in prison,
That's
not
right.
in prison, but I mean just where
3,
you're
4
not,
almost 4
you're
years.
stripped and you're not fighting.
Right, it was hard
You're
to get back.
You're going to
into that.
lose your skills. Your
That's
skills
right.
aren't going to be there.
Well, that made this all the more exceptional when he won those
Oh,
next
that,
2.
that makes it unbelievable
I
to
mean,
me.
he was an underdog to Joe Frazier, really, by the time he played him.
Yes, he was.
And so he beat Frazier. He beat Foreman. And there were a lot of other big fights, of course, that weren't necessarily.
I know he was never knocked down until Frazier got a hold of him on that one fight. Frazier
Yeah.
tagged him big time.
Did you know that Rocky, the movie Rocky, was actually inspired by one of his fights?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in March of 24th, 1975,
Uh-huh.
he fought the Bayonne Bleeder. Do you remember
Oh,
the
I know.
Bayonne Bleeder?
I actually know the Bayonne. Chuck Wepner.
Chuck
Wepner was
That's right.
the Bayonne
The
Bleeder.
Do you know why he was named the Bayonne Bleeder?
All I know is you looked at him and you could tell why. It's Bayonne,
Because-
New Jersey. We said
Because
that.
he was.
Well, excuse that. That's right off the bat.
All
That's
right,
our
Bayonne.
producer telling us we don't pronounce Bayonne correctly.
Bayonne
So
Bleeder.
it's the Bayonne Bleeder, Chuck Wepner. I remember
well,
the
you know
Bayonne.
why he was called that? Because he
I'm
had
going to
the-
guess because he could bleed.
Because he had the ability to take a beating.
Oh yeah.
More than anyone could take a beating.
Well,
And in this particular fight,
he
in-
did a great job
that's
of it.
That's right. In this particular fight, no, that's absolutely true.
I know. I
That is
remember Chuck
absolutely
Wepner
true.
very well.
In this particular fight, in March 24th, 1975,
75.
it went 15 rounds. He was getting beaten like
He had to
Rocky.
look- he must have
just-
looked-
He looked like Rocky.
Jeez.
He looked just like Rocky. His face was bashed in. His bleeding. That's what inspired Rocky. Seriously, that's where it came from.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And,
Wepner didn't come anywhere near as close to beating Ali as Rocky did at
Well,
beating
not, he
Apollo.
didn't win, but inspired that type
Well,
of effort.
Well, obviously Wepner was a minimal fighter, and he could take a punch.
Well, you know, he's one of only 4 fighters ever to knock Ali to the canvas.
I did know that. He
He's
did.
only 4 to do
I think
that.
Ali was just like hauling off, and Wepner got him.
That's right.
But I remember
Well,
that.
Ali says he stepped on his foot.
Check.
So we'll
He's
see.
going to say
That's
that.
what he
But
used to say anyway. But anyway, so I thought that was interesting. And in 2011, ESPN did a documentary called The Real Rocky, and it was on Chuck Wepner.
Chuck Wepner,
The Real Rocky in 2011.
the Bayonne
So
Bleeder.
I
Chuck
thought that was
Wepner.
pretty interesting. But Ali was, had some controversy, but he did a lot of good humanitarian things. He did
yeah.
a lot of things for our country, helping getting prisoners released.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
and different things at different times.
He used his pulpit. He used
he
his
used
pulpit for good.
Well, in his early days, he wasn't liked. Obviously, the anti-war thing and so forth. Took the Supreme Court to overrule that, by the way.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so, but as he got older and mellowed, he become much more likable, I think.
Well, it's usually what happens.
And he was
to-
just known all around the world. Everyone knew Ali.
Oh,
Everyone knew him.
he was probably the biggest sports
You know.
figure in the world. There's no question.
So we
about
had to
it.
mention him and, talk about it. Hope his family is able to transition through this time.
And like I said, I'm not going to use this pulpit to tear him down. To be perfectly honest, though, when I was a kid and Ali was fighting, I really didn't like anybody that was a chest beater and also a braggart and also somebody that put down his opponents. But I wasn't old enough to realize, and as I got older, I realized that was, misdirected anger because he was a promoter.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I wasn't smart enough or old enough to know that. But as I saw it unfold, he got more people juiced up for the Thrilla in Manila.
absolutely.
And
most fighters would let their handler do all the talking or their manager to do all the talking for them. They just sit there and they'll do it. Not him. He and Cosell
individually, I think as a team, they got the most out of themselves because I was amazed to me because Cosell was like a polarizing figure, as was Ali. But when you put them both together,
It was funny.
Everybody really,
I loved-
really enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was great to watch that. Do you know where a lot of Ali's openness, whatever you want to call it,
What you mean, just being braggadocio or
braggadocious
gregarious?
came
Yeah.
from?
What?
Came from. He said he was quoted saying, it came from Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George.
But that's promotion. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. He's a
In,
promoter. He saw how he
in the
promoted the sport.
professional wrestling. That's right.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I said once I figured that out when I got older, I felt, I just couldn't stand Ali when he was young because I said, what a big mouth braggart. All he was doing is promoting his bouts, folks.
But you can't discount his magnitude, his charisma,
Oh no,
and his
Well,
he
was
he's
just-
known all around, his popularity.
he was huge and he was fast.
I mean, you can name out names of famous people that were in the United States: Bob Hope, this person, Frank Sinatra. You
Yeah,
say
big-
Muhammad Ali. That would be one of the top.
Oh, I would think he would be at the top
He could
when
be.
he was
Could be the
when
top.
he was fighting and winning his fights. And like I said, it came full circle for him. I have to give him all the credit in the world because he was the premier fighter in the world, and he left the ring for three and a half.
Imagine if he had stayed those 3.5 years. Or
Would have
so.
been an unbelievable
How many more
career.
championships that he would have had.
Unbelievable career.
You know?
And I know everybody. My personal opinion is he developed the Parkinson's at 42. I don't believe for one second that had anything to do with his fighting. I think it's just just like a lot of other people, you can develop neurological disorders. But I don't really think he took a battering to where it would Parkinson's is in itself an insidious disease. And I heard somebody say, well, he got hit so many times. I don't believe that for a second. I think it's just unfortunately because of his race, and it has a proclivity to being an African American. I mean, the odds were more not in his favor on getting it. I really felt awful. It was awful to see him get it.
It was sad. It was sad to see over the years how he got a little bit worse and worse. And
Well, yeah.
people talking today. I heard people talking today that they miss him dearly, but glad to see him not suffering anymore. the
Well,
way he suffered.
that's to me that's the blessing. If he was suffering for crying out loud, it's a blessing in disguise. And I think that's the thing that we should be happy with. What a horrible loss for us who like to watch him box. But as his life had deteriorated, and for his family, his daughter, I think it was just basically a blessing. And that being said, like I said, that's our first quarter deservedly goes to Muhammad Ali, as it should, the late Muhammad Ali, the late great Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
And we will be back with the second quarter. We'll be talking about everything from the NBA to Major League Baseball to golf and other things that you want to talk about right after this. Zach.
Okay, who?
We're back with the second quarter of Shots from the Bench here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, where they have the tastiest sports in town. And partner, we've got two big finals going on, and you can't put it aside. Golden State deserves their accolades right now, and I'm
Absolutely.
if somebody thinks Cleveland deserves a championship, somebody's gonna have to show me how they deserve it, because they're getting outplayed every way, which way but loose that I can see.
Well, it looks to me like we had the final like last week when when OKC played. When OKC
trying
played,
to get them fired up.
and we're getting Zach fired up over
To our
here.
Cleveland fans,
Looks like that was the final
his
because
name,
actually
Bob
really,
Murphy's his name.
That's right.
What's your address, Bob? No, but you're right. As it stands right now, and I think even the Warriors would say that.
That's right.
I think the
Well,
Thunder.
The Thunder just matched up so much better with them.
Oh yeah.
They were better defensively. They had a better bench. Cleveland's bench is really being exposed. They've got nothing coming off that bench. I mean, you would think Channing Frye, Shumpert.
Well, Smith he didn't even shoot.
Dellavedova.
Smith didn't even shoot. What's it?
Yeah, and they're just defensively. When you bring in Golden State's bench is so much better with Livingston and Ignagala and Barbosa. Those top, especially those guys, and then you got Azili and Verjao up front. They're just not. They can't match. Let's put it this way: the first game that they played, were in Golden State. They beat them. Golden State won 104 to 90 to
89. I saw that. Yeah.
The bench outscored.
Oh, Livingston
bench
came in and hit like 9 in a row. I thought, holy mackerel!
45 to 10.
Honest to
45
God.
to 10. And in that game, Curry had 11 points, and Thompson had 9 points.
That's what I mean.
And they still blew them out. In the next game in Golden State, same thing. Not quite as bad, but still 40 to 27, a little bit more respectable. But in that game, they shut down the starters of Cleveland.
Yeah.
And it was Draymond Green going off for 28 points. They left.
He was due, though. He was
They,
due.
they left him open.
Yeah. Yeah,
And he's a good three-point
They,
shooter.
you can tell that the strategy was he's going to have to beat us,
Yeah.
and
he beat
did.
him. So Cleveland just does not match up well with this team at all.
I
They do
agree.
not. I mean, they could do what they. I mean, they're going back to Cleveland, and they're going to need to be at Cleveland to try and tomorrow night. If they lose tomorrow night, it's over.
What's Cleveland going to do different? I mean, they're going to have to try and do something different.
Well, I heard. Kevin Love may not play. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play.
Okay.
So Tristan Thompson will probably come into the lineup.
Okay.
That will actually help them defensively in their starting lineup because
Yeah.
Kevin Love is not a great defender.
No, he sure
Uh,
as heck is not.
Kyrie Irving's not a great defender. It just seems like so many times you're watching Irving or LeBron James trying to force their way through a wall of defenders and making a mistake, losing the ball.
That
It's a
looks to
fast
be
break.
what their offense has been
Yeah, it's a
centered
fast
around.
break and
Yeah.
it's a three.
Yeah.
If they do score, they score 2 points and they score 3. So it's just the score is constantly going up in their favor. If Cleveland makes a run, it's only one run or two during the game. Where Warriors make a bunch of runs and just blow you away. Late in the game, they put it away.
Does it do them any good to just tell LeBron to bring the house? I mean, LeBron can put
Yeah.
up, he can start putting up 30, 35 shots
Yeah.
if he wants to.
I mean, you even got Maurice Speaks coming in off the bench, hitting threes for the Warriors.
That's right.
What I'd like to know is if they lose this series badly, does LeBron James, he has an opt-out in his contract. He has an opt-out this year. Is he going to be leaving Cleveland after 2 years?
I would expect that he would, and I'll tell you
if he
why.
did, where would he go?
Well,
What kind of a team can beat the Warriors? Is there a team he could go to right now that can beat the Warriors?
I haven't got
don't
any
think
idea
so.
what team, but I mean, there's a lot of teams that would, roll out the red carpet big time for him. So
There's no doubt.
the Knicks,
The Knicks would be glad to get him.
Knicks
Someone
Knicks
just said
might,
the Knicks,
might make the
but
playoffs
that
if they
doesn't
get
make the
LeBron.
Knicks
They might.
able to beat the Warriors, that's for sure.
Yeah, but
That makes the Knicks possibly a contender in the East, plus maybe another piece.
how about the Spurs? Don't you think he'd be great with Popovich?
Well, I've heard, we were talking about, free agents and stuff here. Possible he has an opt-out in his, but one of the free agents talked about to go to the Spurs is either Kevin Durant, or
I like Durant
Paul
going there.
Gasol. Now, Paul Gasol makes a lot of sense because he goes right into that team and plays the spot where Duncan played. And Duncan's really, I doubt he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back.
No, I don't think.
He hasn't got much left in the tank. But look at Paul Gasol down low. He does the same job as Duncan does. He still has something left. Then you got Aldridge and you got Kawhi Leonard.
Actually,
up front.
that makes all the sense in the world to me. I didn't think about that before, but yeah.
I've heard Durant to the Wizards. I've heard that's a possibility. Also,
You mean to play with Wall?
to play with Wall
All right.
and Bradley Beal, and also maybe to the Heat, because they may be losing Whiteside. So that's another possibility.
But that's a reason not to go.
or
I mean,
he'll
I
stay.
would go if I thought Whiteside was staying.
But another possibility, I think he could possibly just stay, because he just took the world champion 7 games with the team he had. Maybe Golden State, with a little tweaking, can be the team to knock him off. I mean, they took him 7 games to beat them. So maybe he should stay right where he's at.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he
It's not
does.
money that he's looking for. He wants a championship.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he does because I don't know. That seems to me to not be the media mecca of the world, Oklahoma City. But
So tomorrow night we have Golden State at Cleveland. We'll see if they can muster up some sort of offensively. They're just lost.
if like I said, I think they're going to have to, send LeBron deep. They're going to have to throw some Hail Marys LeBron's way and see if he can get some
everybody you
points.
listen to on sports talk shows are just scratching their head. They don't have they haven't answered. They didn't show up. They say they don't show up. They look disinterested.
I don't think they're
don't know.
disinterested. Well, you get disinterested when you start losing by 25
Yeah,
points.
when you're losing by 25.
Yeah, that'll kind of kill your
That's right,
spirit a
that's
little
right.
bit. But Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think that I thought this would go 5 games, and I think it's probably going to go 5 games. Not that I'm always right, but I think I can tell the difference. But no, it's. I'll tell you what. Let's. We got what might potentially be the final game of the Stanley Cup. The Pittsburgh is hosting San Jose.
That's right.
If they win the game, they get the cup back in Pittsburgh, and I'm sure they're psyched for that. But I'll tell you what, I picked San Jose in the series, even though I am from Pittsburgh, and these three games have got to be
Yep.
the closest. I mean, it's 1 goal difference with 2 minutes to play in each game.
Except for
And-
last night's game.
Well, no, they scored with 3 minutes to go. The bottom line, these teams are just
Right.
dead even. And if Pittsburgh takes their foot off the gas, they're going to get beat. And if
Yeah.
San Jose takes their foot off the
Yeah.
gas, they're going to get steamrolled. So they're playing
Well, they're playing another game in San
tooth
Jose.
and claw. If San Jose can beat Pittsburgh, they go back to San Jose. If they beat them again, they got to go back to Pittsburgh. In the famous why they ever decided to go 2-2, 1-1-1 in any sports championship when you
Yeah,
could
I
just
don't
go
know.
2-3-2,
They used to, well, they used
2,
to
3,
do
and 2.
right. They used to do 2-3-2, so you would limit the travel and the stress on
There's
the
no,
team.
and there's no
that
advantage.
Makes more sense
What's
to
the
us.
advantage? There's no advantage.
All of a sudden they go back to that again, the 2-2, 1-1-1. I don't
I
know
was
why.
talking to Greg off camera, and he
Yeah.
said, "Well, what if you lose one of your first 2 games?" I said, "Well, then you got 3 games to
That's
try
right.
to win one." I said,
That's
"You
right.
know." But that's Greg. That's why we don't spend a lot of time talking to Greg. You'll
Oh,
never
no.
see Greg on camera here,
No.
folks, and that's the reason why. I'm pretty sure that's how we're going
That's
to do
true,
it.
that's true,
But no, I mean, again, I've said this before, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but if you have not watched professional hockey or if you're not interested in it, watch these games, because these games, if you don't like these games, yeah, you won't like hockey. They have been as fun and
Oh, yeah.
exciting. There's hitting, there's speed, great goalkeeping. Everything's just spectacular. So I firmly believe that you ought to check it out. Just so you know, then you can learn the rules after that. You don't have to learn the rules till
That's
after
right.
you get.
I don't recall. I don't know the history of this, but it seems like the National Hockey League always goes longer than the NBA. I don't know. It, just
It
seems
never used to, but it's been a week later. Used to be over in April. April,
Yeah.
the Stanley Cup used to be over in April, folks, and now it's the middle of June. Why? I'm sure they're trying to make a money grab on it somehow, but you just play the games.
Well, they've added more teams over the years, extended the playoff series longer, and stretched it out.
You
And
can't water it down. Great sports don't need to be watered down. Get them over.
Right.
If they're a 4-game series and it's over, it's over. Same thing with the NBA. I'm thinking, Greg, didn't the NBA used to be over a little quicker than it's over now?
no, it's been pretty much June. I remember.
Has
as
it always been
I
June?
remember as
Okay.
a kid.
See, I didn't have
I
an
remember as a
NBA team.
young Knick fan back in the day, back in the 70s, or even the late 60s.
I do remember
70s.
the Knicks.
Uh,
Willis Reed, Dick
You know,
Barnett.
it was
Yeah.
in June.
No? Was it
was in
really in
June,
June?
yeah.
All right. Can you confirm that?
Oh yeah.
You won't do it.
Yeah, it was June. You
All right.
can't do it.
Well, like I said, and it seems to me that while we're on the subject, baseball's a lot longer than it used to be. It's into July now, I think. No, I'm just teasing. I get the biggest kick out of
yeah. It's
people complaining about the length of the schedule. Too many games. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I would go watch a baseball game.
well,
I know
do you like watching games in late October, early
I
November?
don't like
and
watching
30
them
degrees out at
in
night?
May 30th
Where
when
the
it's
bat stings when you
15
hit.
degrees and 5 inches. I don't like that. I think they should condense it from mid-April to mid-September, and you know,
You don't
take it from
like
there.
it when they play football in the snow either.
Well, I like football. I can go with.
Football's kind of fun
You're
to
not
watch.
you're
in the
not
snow,
showing me any
actually.
fingers. How are we doing here? Okay, we're down. It is getting into halftime, and we made a mess of this first half. So we'll go in, and Coach Greg will give us the old rah-rah speech, tell us what we did wrong. So we'll be back with a whole new attitude for the third quarter of Shots from the
better, much
Bench right after this.
There it is. I got it.
Okay, we're back with the third quarter of Shots from the Bench. here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. That's Gators Dockside. They have the tastiest sports in town. And I'll tell you what, we survived the tongue lashing we always got.
that's
Again, we were yelled our clock management skills aren't the best, but I think that's a coaching problem more than us. So I'm not going to worry about that. I think that's just bad coaching. But now we're here to talk a little bit of baseball. And the baseball season's in full swing. And I'll tell you what, partner, the teams that we thought were going to really be are really starting to separate themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it.
Well, the Cubs. Let's start with the Cubs.
Let's talk.
Got to talk about them.
Are they going to win 115 games? I mean, the Cubs look to me to be the real deal, and I don't see anybody. Who's going to bother them?
They're the fastest to 40 wins since the 01 Mariners, Seattle Mariners. They're the fastest team since 01 to get to 40 wins.
And all of their, we all knew Arrieta was good, but all their other guys are pitching shutouts. It's just amazing.
Arrieta's 9-1 with a 1.8
yeah, some ridiculous
ERA.
You knew he was going to be Cy Young material, but they got guys like Hamill and Kendrick pitching shutouts.
Hamill and Lester and Lackey.
Yeah,
they all got 6-7
well,
wins.
Lackey's good, but I mean, the third and fourth pitchers.
Unbelievable.
Everybody comes out and they're like 7.
And their guys are hitting. Like Zobrist is one of the leaders in the league.
Unbelievable.
In hitting.
And Rizzo hasn't even started really hitting
going
yet.
off and going crazy.
Bryant hasn't been ridiculous. He's hitting very productively. But, Rizzo, I see they had Soler go on the disabled list. They just come up with player after player after player that produces and
They're
produces.
9.5 games over the Pirates, so now the Pirates, I think,
they're
playing the Mets in a doubleheader
Pirates
right now.
are happy to be 5 games over 500, and I guarantee you at this rate, and it's not a knock on the Pirates, but the Cubs are going to win that division by 20, 25 games.
Well, when you have 4 starters like that, they can put separation between
20
them
to 25
so quickly.
games they're going to win
I
that
know.
division by.
Yeah.
I can't see the Cardinals or the Pirates, certainly not the Brewers or the Reds. I don't see anybody even remotely giving the Cubs anything to worry about. So,
well, the closest team to give them any kind of a concern right now is the Giants. I think they have a staff that is almost as good as
I
they
agree
are.
with you, and I think the Giants.
And they can hit.
They can hit. I don't know that they can quite go down the line with the pitchers. But then again, the Giants are certainly they're separating from the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers are a fairly good baseball team, and the Giants
Well,
are going to
anytime
start.
you got Clayton Kershaw on your team, who actually is probably, if you look at every statistic, he might be the best pitcher
in the National League.
Maybe baseball, possibly.
He's unbelievable.
He's 8-1, Kershaw, with the Dodgers, with a 1.46 ERA.
That's Koufax
Get
stuff
this.
there.
This is the part that I think is the most impressive. In 92 innings, right? 92 innings. He has 109 strikeouts in 92 innings, and in 92 innings, he has 9 walks.
That's
walks.
ridiculous. Talk about command.
It's unbelievable.
9 walks in 92 innings. He strikes out 190.
Even I couldn't do
He
that.
probably gave up. Yeah, I was going to say those sound like stats from my high school career. No, that's right. That was another guy on my team. No, but the fact is, he's probably only given up 55 hits too.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are in a class by themselves. But I just think the Giants are separating themselves. The Cubs are separating. I know you're a Mets guy, and I think the Mets, despite if they win or lose today, I still think the Mets have the starting pitchers. They got to go out and they got to hit one of these weak teams. Cincinnati, go get somebody good to get into your lineup in the infield, and get a bat. And they'll be right there at the end, like they were last year.
The Nationals and the Mets should be fighting this out all season long. I don't think there's going to be too much separation. I think the Mets have a little bit better pitching, and the Nationals have a little bit better hitting. And so it kind of balances out, and they're kind of right at each other's. They're two up on the Mets, 2.5, whatever it is.
I think the Nationals can go into a swoon. Strasburg is to me, Strasburg. You won't believe this, but I think Harvey and Strasburg are a toss-up. They're both about the same type of pitcher to me right now. You may disagree. Scherzer, same deal. Scherzer pitches 2 great games and gets creamed. But I just think the Mets are
Well,
5 to
Strasburg-
10 games
Sure.
past the Nationals.
Strawberry's 9-0, so I don't think Harvey's 9-0. But
Strasburg 9-0. Let's see where they end up at the end. No, not
I know.
Harvey.
I'd like Harvey to be closer to Strasburg. I really
Harvey,
would.
how's Harvey pitched his last couple games? Not
Very
bad.
good.
That's what I'm
he
saying.
pitched very
yeah.
good, but he got no run production out of the offense. They've got Darno, their starting catcher. David Wright, their starting third baseman.
Making my point
Duda,
for
their
me.
starting first baseman, out for extended period of time.
Take one of your guys and
And then you got Granison at the top of the lineup hitting 208.
Get a bat.
Who was, wonderful last year.
bat him seventh. Get a bat. Go get somebody that
You
can
got to
hit.
have someone to put in there.
Get
So
somebody
that's
that can
really
hit.
hurt them.
Get
I'll
somebody
tell you
hit.
what's hurt them too, is getting rid of Daniel Murphy. If they had Daniel Murphy this year, that would certainly have helped. Because right now they're not producing runs; they're just hitting home runs.
Well, I agree.
And
You-
Daniel Murphy is head and shoulders
Murphy's
over,
having
offensively over Neil Walker.
well, there's no question. He's having, but
Yeah.
right now he's having a career year and a year for the masses. I mean,
Right.
it's unbelievable. He's up in the rarefied air with George Brett and Rod Carew and guys. I mean, if he hits 380, then yeah, they really misread his ability.
Daniel Murphy's the kind of player for so many years was the Mets when they had no hitters on that team. He was their best hitter.
Yeah.
And he seems to have gotten better as the last couple of years, just getting better and better and better.
Well, he's
And,
batting in front of Harper.
there's
And
not too- huh?
He's batting in front of Harper, isn't he? Isn't
Oh,
that-
yeah. Yeah,
that,
Bryce
that's
Harper,
gotta.
sure.
So he's got to be getting some decent pitches to hit, but Harper hasn't exactly been setting the world on fire either.
No, and if
but
he gets
he's-
hot,
yeah,
watch out.
yeah, that's right. But by the same token, they got a lot of real streaky hitters. That's like I said, my hat's off to Murphy for having such a great season so
But
far.
I think right now in the National League, the Cubs and the Giants would have to say are the top two teams right now.
There's no question.
You know,
Far and
The
above.
Mets and Nationals might figure out.
I
They may pick up a player in the.
I
at
put the
uh,
Mets. I put the Mets
here or
third
there.
just because of their pitching staff.
Right.
Look at that: Degrom, Syndergaard, Matz. I mean, and Harvey. I'm
And
sorry.
now they're getting Zach Wheeler back.
And remember,
Uh,
Zach Wheeler
see
was
if
a
he
heck
brings
of.
anything to
He
the
was a
table.
17-game winner before he went
Right.
down.
Next month they should have.
That's a pitching staff that you have to reckon with. If the Mets just going to score runs, like I said, I don't know how they did. They were losing 3-0 to the Pirates, I think, in the first game of the double. You can't. You got to score runs. You can't.
Right.
When you get 0 runs, you're not going to beat anybody.
That's right.
And they can afford. They got the talent now to go get some bats.
Right.
But that's my take on that. But let's
Now, over in the American
yeah,
League,
let's segue over to the American
Oh,
League
yeah.
because.
we got Red Sox just fell out of first place.
Well,
slightly.
give the Orioles credit. The Orioles are clutching and grabbing and trying to stay with them. I think the Red Sox just have way too much offense for the Orioles.
Well,
Might be wrong.
in the last 10 games, the Orioles retook first place.
Yeah.
Orioles are half game ahead of the Red
The
Sox.
Red Sox need a pitcher.
The
They're
Blue
not.
Jays are showing some signs
They are showing a lot of
of
signs, but
hitting again,
yeah.
and they're moving up the standings a little bit.
I don't think they're going to get by with pitching, with batting Batista first.
Yeah.
I know they did that in an effort to try to get his bat going. He's still batting 225, but you got to put it. If he gets his bat turned around, you got to get him in a power position in the
absolutely.
lineup. I think, my personal opinion.
Sure. Team that really surprises me in the American League right now and is the Indians.
I'm
They're
really,
in first
I am so
place.
happy for the Indians.
Yeah.
I really am. Like I said, while I don't expect the Cavaliers to get Cleveland the championship, wouldn't you like to see? Wouldn't you like to see the Indians in the World
Well, they're
World Series?
They're 2 games up on the world champion Royals.
Yes.
The Royals looked like they were going into last week. They looked like they were starting to catch their stride.
Yes, I agree with you. Well, it should be interesting to see what happens. But
You know, and so the White Sox were for the first month and a half or so.
White Sox
they faded.
They did a major tank. I never
They
thought
did
I'd see
tank.
it.
They were
They
2-8
really,
in their last
wow.
10 games. Over in the West, the Rangers, we pretty much thought that they would be with the Astros. We thought would be. They've actually the Astros have played really good baseball in the last week or so, 2 weeks. They're
Well-
they're 8-2.
Oh, really?
Starting
Well,
to pull up.
well, good.
Starting to play a little bit better,
'Cause
closer to 500.
I didn't see him doing anything for a long
Yeah.
time. Well, okay, well that's good then. Good.
So it looks like the Rangers are 3 games up on the Mariners, and the Astros are seven back. And the Rangers, just the best hitting team in baseball right now. Absolutely.
There's no question. They're a well-kept secret. I don't think anybody knows. That lineup is top to bottom just filled with really,
Right.
really good hitters. And I don't know how they're like they got Dervish back, and he looks like he's got his arm speed back where he wants it. But
They're
if
winning a lot of 7-5 games, 7-6 games.
You can't get by
No.
with playing good teams. That's not going to happen. That's
Sure.
the Red Sox are getting by doing that now too. But you got to get some pitchers lined up.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you, all those teams, the Red Sox, the Rangers, go
course, we-
throw the kitchen sink at some of these low teams and get some of their best players.
So we would be amiss not to mention the worst team in the major leagues, in the American League, which is by far the worst team, which is the Minnesota Twins.
Not the Yankees. A Yankee hater calls in.
They've got a whopping 16 wins and 40 losses here.
In a
15 and
in a
half
small
back.
market. In a-
What do you do as a
in a
fan
small
for a team
market.
like that? I've been there. I've been a Mets fan all my years, so I know what it's like. But still, you're only 56 games into the season, and you're 15 and a half
You're a
games
third of the
back.
way through the season. They're trending for 48 wins. Not what you want to see from your home team.
No.
Especially, I don't know what they're charging for tickets in Minnesota, but they
Usually
gotta,
when you-
they got to dismantle that team. You can't tell me Maurer and Dozier, those guys aren't available for the right price, and that's where somebody like the Mets.
Absolutely.
That's what you got. You got to grab those guys.
A
You
team
gotta
like
get
this
those
needs
guys.
prospects, someone
Yes.
to develop their team.
Yes.
And teams that are fighting for contention need some new support.
I'll tell
new
you what,
players.
and we're going to be back with the fourth quarter. We're going to solve the problems of every major league team, and we're even going to give a tongue lashing to the All-Star selection and how that's going. So come back with us, and we'll be back for the fourth quarter shots from the bench right after this. We are back with the fourth quarter of shots from the bench. And partner, this is where all of the hard work and preparation really pays off. You got to pay it off in the fourth quarter, and that's usually when we do the best job. Before we start, I want to acknowledge we have Zach Farmer in the audience, and Zach is our producer. We do a show on Saturday mornings from 10 to 12 on the Q. WQBQ, I don't even know how to say it. 1410 in Leesburg, and my partner lives right by the station, but he can't even walk over and watch our show.
I was on it one time.
Okay, you were on it one time, but we appreciate Zach coming, and thank you very much for coming, Zach. You can see we even mess up other shows besides yours, but I appreciate that. But
We're good at that.
but let's talk about, first of all, I wanted to talk about the All-Star game and the fact that they're still having that problem with the Royal stuff in the ballot box. And is that really what you want? Do you want 8 Royals and David Ortiz starting the All-Star game?
No,
That's what you're going to get. And
right.
until they stop doing this, I mean,
It's unbelievable because really that's kind of a small market really compared
yeah,
to
but
New York or
they're drawn.
Boston
Now
or
they're
LA.
drawn. But don't you think, and I proposed this, I think, in my dreams, but the fact is, let the fans pick the reserves. That I can deal with. But I don't, why stuff the ballot box for, I mean,
Yeah.
if the good players, the starters
Well, there's
should
gotta
be
be-
picked by the people that know the
Here's
sport.
what I think. I think there's got to be a way that when you make a vote, make it count, that you can't vote again. There's got to be a way in today's technology.
Boy,
to
if
do
you
that.
can figure that one out. They
Yeah.
haven't figured out how to do that for presidential elections. They're going to have real
But
trouble.
if they could do
doing
that, they
it
could
on the
figure that
All-Star.
out because really, I mean,
There's-
it's been like this. This vote, the way they're voting now is the way it's always been.
There's
Fan
guy-
has always been.
There's
It's
guys
been a
voting in
game for the
Chicago
people.
5 times, I think, each election. But you're right. That would help
You
if
know?
there was a way to technologically do it. I just don't know if we're there yet. It would be nice if we were. But
Whether I don't know.
but,
There's got to be a way.
but I'm just curious what you were thinking because
Or they can stand in
I
for
know
a ballot.
you've always been on the side of fans having a say, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was just wondering.
You don't
know,
like the abuse. It's not that you don't want them to be the fans in charge. You don't want the abuse of the fans in charge.
Well, that's
You
right.
don't want the fans stuffing the ballot
That's
box. I don't
exa-
either.
well, that-
I don't
but-
want that either.
but
But there's
I
got to
don't-
be a way of stopping it.
Well, if you
You
come
can't
up
just
with
have a forms sitting there and people grabbing forms.
Well, that's
and
what it
writing them
is.
out, writing them
That's
up,
what it
writing them
is,
up,
yeah.
shoving
It's like
you gotta
lottery
be able
tickets.
to,
They're just picking them
make
up
it
and
harder on fans. Maybe
ripping 'em off.
send away and you get one form per family or something. You
I
know,
like
you
it.
got to be able to do it.
That-
Send away for it.
That sounds like it might cost a little too much to administrate,
that's
but I
true.
like it. I like the idea. But right now, I don't trust the fan. Well, we shouldn't trust the fans. This is what you get.
Yeah.
Eight Royals and David Ortiz.
And, apparently,
That's
Kansas
it.
City fans are the most motivated fans in baseball. I guess the Yankee fans aren't motivated anymore.
No,
or
the
Mets
Yankees.
fans aren't
The
motivated.
Yankees aren't motivated
And there's
anymore.
actually more of them than there are Kansas
Well, I
City
don't know
fans.
what's going on in the National League. I haven't paid much attention. I would certainly think that.
You would think more
the
Cubs
Me-
are on there.
I would think the Cubs are going to really have them stuffed, and I would think
Giants.
the Mets, because the
Cespedes.
managers pick the pitchers. The Mets are going to have 3-4 pitchers
Well,
with
I
Familia
don't know about
and there's
3-4. They
oh,
have
they're- Phil, they got-
Syndergaard, Mats maybe.
and Familia,
Uh,
Syndergaard. You don't
definitely
think
Syndergaard.
DeGrom? I think DeGrom's.
No, he's
yeah.
only 3-1.
Oh, okay. Well,
He's had some no decisions.
all right. Well,
I'd say Mats potentially, but definitely Syndergaard. And then
Familia-
you'd have,
well,
Stras-
Familia
you'd
is-
have Strasburg for Washington. You'd have who were we talking about here?
Scherzer.
No, Scherzer. He's having an off year.
Well, Arrieta.
He may win 4 between now and the All-Star. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what I'm saying.
But I'm just saying you're going to have Kershaw,
Arrieta
Strasburg,
and the Giants.
Arietta,
And who's the Giants? They got
and-
Baumgartner,
and
Madison
Syndergaard. Your top 4 pitchers
Madison
right there.
Baumgartner. Yeah,
Yeah, you got Kershaw, Strasburg, Syndergaard, and Arrieta. Those are your top 4 pitchers in the National League. In the American League, I don't know who we got in the American League.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. Well, Sale, is it Sale? I think I
Sale for
pronounced it right.
Chicago.
Sale looks like the real deal in Chicago. And how about? Actually, I forgot about Zach Greinke. I think he's pitching pretty well, isn't he? For Arizona.
Well,
I'm
he's-
going back, but
Yeah.
I was just thinking of good pitchers.
yeah.
But I'm trying to think of the Red Sox. Their knuckleballer.
Price is
Price is doing right. They
Okay.
have that right, that
Yeah.
knuckleballer. They're doing pro. I'm sure there's some pitchers that, but the Hernandez is
But
on
doesn't
the
it seem like
disabled list.
the National League has the best pitchers?
Oh yeah, right
Best-
now.
Best
until
all-star
until
pitchers?
the All-Star game starts.
That should bode well in the All-Star game, I would think.
But that's
know.
but we just want. I wanted to get off on a rant on that because quit doing that, Kansas City. Quit stuffing the ballot box. Give some of the other guys a chance to play. Big Poppy though, let Big Poppy play. But let's segue to the French Open because pronounce her name for me because I am in her corner. She is not only is she a beautiful lady to watch play and a gorgeous, gorgeous tennis player.
Sabine Muguruza. No.
Muguruza.
Muguruza, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I
Thank
guessed
you.
right. I guessed
She's
right.
actually born in Venezuela.
It's a free beer
and
for me,
lives in
Zach.
Spain.
Okay. Well, that's she
But
is.
she is the changing of
I
the
had
guard
not
in
seen her
women's tennis.
play, but I just said,
You know,
"This is
for
now
many
I
years-
want to watch. I want to watch the finals." Not
Think-
that, but Serena was
Sure.
killing people.
Well, think of how long the Williams sisters have been in there, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
And they're still good.
Still in the top
Serena's,
10, both of them.
Serena's unbelievable.
And
Yeah,
they're both in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then you've got, of course, Sharapova's been around for a long time, and
do-
she's had a
she doped her way out of it, or
yeah,
did
well,
something.
she's
yeah,
had a
whatever.
little issue here.
Yeah.
Whether she's coming back or not, we'll see.
Doubt it.
But they've been around a long time. There hasn't been the new girl,
You're
new
right.
woman.
The sport
but
was
this
so
is the one.
anxious to
This is
get
the one.
these young girls would come up like Halep, and and
Yeah,
they'd say,
you had
"Oh, they got to get. They're ready." to-"
You've
and
had
then-
several, Ranchikova, whatever.
Yeah, and then there's more Kovas. A lot of players that end their name
But they
with
didn't
OV.
hang around long. But this girl here, this girl looks like the real deal.
Well, they all
I mean,
play
when you watch
Serena and
her
lose
play-
one 6-1, 6-3, and I think
She has what most girls don't do. They don't overpower Serena Williams.
Yeah.
And have the steadiness.
well, she's
of
got a
play.
complete game. She
has a
can do
complete
everything.
game.
She got a nice serve, nice volley, nice stroke.
Serena, by the way, was trying in this major to become to tie Steffi Graf at 22 majors.
She's gonna do it. She's
she'll do it.
She's gonna get it done.
This girl Sabine
Muguruza.
Thank you. You've got it down better
Thank
than me.
you. I just know it's a Nutsa.
She actually lost in the final of Wimbledon last year, so she's not like didn't come out of nowhere.
See, I didn't even know that. I
She
didn't
lost
even know
to
that.
Serena in the final last year.
Really? Wow.
And so I think there could be a changing of the guard in the women's game. That certainly within who's going to be the next number one? It looks like this girl here.
I hope.
It looks like this girl.
I don't mean sooner rather than later. I think Serena is
yeah.
still as gifted a woman
Yep.
tennis player as I've ever
Right.
seen.
She
But
has
it's
that-
good to see somebody
and she's
coming
ranked
up.
4 in the world. I mean, she's not like 50
She
in the
didn't.
world
She
or
didn't come out of nowhere. You're
something.
right.
She didn't come out of nowhere.
Right.
You don't get to the final of Wimbledon and other tournaments and not get blessed with a nice ranking.
But isn't it nice to see a new? I don't want to say a new face, but yeah, a new face. I mean, just somebody
Absolutely.
that can come in and play a good, dominant tennis game. I mean,
So
I
now
like that.
when we head into, we're only, all the tournaments. We'll get to the men here in a minute.
Yeah.
All the tournaments this week are transitioning from clay to the grass for the next
Getting
3
ready.
weeks. The next 3 weeks, they're
Yep.
all prep tournaments for Wimbledon.
Yep.
And so that's quite a transition to go from clay,
There's a
one of the
huge-
slowest surfaces, to grass, one of the
That's
fastest
why I think
surfaces.
that's why they almost set it up that way, so you can slowly get your way onto some of the grass courts and play.
Right.
You can play some of these like the Stella Artois or whatever. I mean, but
Right.
they're getting ready for Wimbledon. There's no question, and
So,
that's going to be fascinating.
The men's winner at the French was a first-time winner, but won his 12th major, Novak Djokovic, and he beat Andy Murray in the final. Andy Murray, that was good result for Andy
Andy
to get to
Mu-
the final of a French Open.
Murray's had a pretty darn good career. Probably not as many majors as he would have liked, but he's really, really an ultra talented tennis player.
Do you know, since last year at the French Open, Djokovic lost to Stan Wawrinka.
Yeah, I remember that. That's
And
right.
he's won every major since. He
So-
won Wimbledon, he won the U.S. Open, he won the Australian, and he just won the French. He won 4 straight.
So he's got one more, right, to make it to do
Well,
the
he won
grand.
4 straight. He won
But I
the-
mean,
he won
but he
Wimbledon.
has to in the year. So if he gets Wimbledon
he
this
hasn't
year,
done it in a calendar year.
well,
but
that's so he did do
yeah.
a slam, but not the
Right.
in the year slam.
Right.
So I got to root for him, and got to root for him in Wimbledon, and
right.
chances are he's probably gonna smash his way through there because
So
he's
now-
just a great player.
So now he has 12 majors. He's 29 years old. Okay, just coming into his prime. He's got 6 Australians, 3 Wimbledon titles, 2 U.S. Opens, and now this French.
Wow.
Only Federer at 17 majors, Nadal 14, Sampras 14 have more than he does.
Well, he's fit, and he's the type that can win the next 5 in a row. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's as dominant as Serena. I mean,
when you think about Wimbledon, you think about the U.S. Open. He's definitely the favorite. There's a couple more right there this year.
and the
He
men's.
could win 6 in a row, 6 majors in a row.
There's so
easily.
many good young men coming up, but you know what? He seems to be able to answer the bell no matter who comes at him.
That's right.
So that's.
And I know that Federer didn't play the French. He decided not to play. Well,
Yeah.
he was practicing on the grass,
Well,
getting ready for Wimbledon. That's where he has his best shot. He has his best shot with his type of game, the skidding ground show, the serve.
I agree
He
with
has a
that.
Great serve, great volley. Also, the skidding ground strokes that he can hit to keep Djokovic a little bit off balance. He always plays him tough at Wimbledon, so we'll see. But that's going to be, I think, Djokovic's biggest test. It would be against Federer.
well, but I mean, what a significant achievement if he can pull off the slam in the calendar year. I mean,
That's right.
that hasn't been done.
I mean, they talk about, when they talk greatness now, they talk about a career slam. I mean, like Agassi has a career slam. You know, they don't, like Rod Laver is the only one that has done in the men's side all in 1 year.
Right. That's what I mean.
You know,
So
it's funny. You look at McEnroe and guys like that, Connors. A lot of times they didn't play the Australian. They didn't even want to go down there and play that tournament. They wouldn't even go. They didn't want to travel down there. So now all these new guys like Djokovic and stuff. That becomes a way of building those majors a lot quicker than
question.
the old guys. Even Borg didn't even play the U.S. Open for the first few years.
tell you what, I know we're running out of time, and let's give Novak Djokovic and Maragutsa their props.
They're due. That's right.
And we will be back next week, And we will have lots more sports to talk about. A lot more complaints about Greg, but that comes without saying. But in the meantime, we want to thank everybody, and we will be back here at Gators Dockside with Shots from the Bench next Tuesday. Thanks so much, folks.